So here's a random story that we discovered over the weekend here on the F1Chronicle.com. Adrian Sutil, you may remember him from back in the day, driving for primarily the likes of Force India, a solid midfield driver, and I say this with the greatest respect for him as a professional racing driver. He was basically, that was kind of what he was, right? He was a solid midfield driver in Formula One. He was always there or thereabouts. He now holds the unwanted record of having the most Formula One appearances without getting a podium after his former teammate at Force India, Nico Hülkenberg. He had his first podium this year, obviously, at the British Grand Prix. Now, as a driver, fairly solid, Sutil. As a person, a little bit more questionable. He's had his run-ins with the law in the past. Of course, the very controversial Chinese nightclub incident that also involved Sir Lewis Hamilton as well back in the day. For Formula One fans that were around back then, they'll remember the controversy around that, how Hamilton and Sutil were actually pretty good friends before that, but since then, not so much. Not so much. I don't think they've ever really spoken to each other that much, at least publicly anyway, ever since that happened. And again, he's been arrested with allegations of fraud put against him. I mean, this is not a misdemeanor, but let's have a look, guys. This is an absolutely wild one from the weekend that I've just had a chance to have a look at properly and read out for you guys now here on F1Chronicle.com. Let's take a look. Former F1 driver Adrian Sutil has been arrested in what German media have described as an international raid. Reports from the newspaper Bild state that the 42-year-old has been detained on allegations of fraud and embezzlement. Sutil has not issued any public comment regarding the case. Sutil competed in Formula One between 2007 and 2014 with Spiker, Force India and Sauber. He never reached the podium, although he did have some strong results, including 4th place at the 2009 Italian Grand Prix and 5th place at the 2010 Malaysian Grand Prix, as well as the same placing in Monaco in 2013. In 2011, he was involved in an incident at a nightclub in Shanghai, China, in which Lotus executive Eric Lux sustained an injury caused by a champagne glass. Lewis Hamilton, who was a close friend at the time, was present in the venue and there has never been any suggestion of his involvement. Sutil was convicted of grievous bodily harm in 2012 and received a suspended sentence of 18 months along with a financial penalty. Just to clarify, because I know there might be some people in the comments when I said Hamilton was involved in that. I mean, he was in the area. I didn't say that he was involved in it in terms of actually committing the alleged crime. He was there, though, because he was asked to give testimony at the case, as we'll cover here in this article later on too. Sutil left the sport after the verdict, then returned to Force India in 2013. His long friendship with Hamilton dated back to their time as teammates in Formula 3, and their relationship deteriorated after the Shanghai incident. Hamilton was summoned as a witness but declined to testify and later changed his mobile phone number without notifying Sutil. Sutil later described Hamilton as a coward. Speaking to Die Welt, Sutil said, quote, "Basically, I only had a problem with one person, which was Mr. Lux. He has offered me his hand and said that for him. The issue is finished." What Lewis Hamilton does is not decisive in my ambitions to get back to Formula One. He said this many years ago in 2014, I think. Just with defeats, you have to be... Just as with defeats, you have to deal with disappointments. It is as simple as that. I think no one should expect to find any of my friends in the paddock, and I do not look for them there either. I have enough friends outside of F1. End quote. Hamilton also spoke on his relationship with Sutil, saying, quote, "Things are different, definitely. We have spoken a couple of times and we have planned to get together at some stage and just have a chat, basically. We have been great friends for a long time and we have had some of the best times together along the way, especially in F3. You can only really count your good friends on one hand, maybe. So, as people say, good friends are hard to come by. I want to make sure that we get things right." End quote. And I don't think they ever reconciled. That quote was over a decade ago, and I've not really seen anything in the media about them getting together at any point, really. So, yeah, an absolutely random one, to say the very least, and we don't really know any more details about the allegations, just that fraud and embezzlement. I mean, that's serious. That's not like a parking ticket. That's not like littering in the street. That is a extremely serious crime if he is convicted of it. But we'll bring you any news on that as it comes, guys, as always, here on the weird and wacky world of Formula One. See you soon. Have a good one.